everybody. How's it going? So we're back here again with Chris Lipe. This time we've got some vocal don'ts in the studio. So tell your singer, put down the bong and pay attention because it's time to learn something useful.
Yeah. So some of these you might go, okay, I knew that. But did you really?
Yeah, a lot of people will go comment, oh, that's just common sense, man. That's common sense. I'm like, have you ever been in a studio? Do you know how rare that is?
And some of these you're going to go, huh? I never would have thought of it. So have an open mind, whether you're the vocalist or whether you're the producer, because if you're the producer and you're working with another vocalist, you may be able to actually hear, wait, you did that the night before, didn't you? And that's why your voice sucks today. Like you might actually be able to pull these things out and coach them into better practices. So shall we start the top 5?
Yeah, go for it, dude.
Number 5, don't eat late. Don't eat spicy. Don't eat/drink alcohol late, particularly the night before or the couple nights before you really want to kill it in the studio. What ends up happening, even those people who do not struggle with chronic acid reflux or GERD or whatever, when you fill your stomach up and then lay down and you've filled it up with acidic stuff or alcohol, this stuff will creep from your stomach and it'll sit on your vocal cords all night long. And then you will wake up and you may not even notice it in your speaking voice. You might a little bit, but it will really come to light when you start trying to push your voice creatively in the studio. I knew I could hit that note, but I can't now. What's going on? That you ate a lot of crap right before.
I can attest to this. I went through this exact thing. Last year I was 312 pounds. And why? Because I ate a lot of crap, especially at night. And then I'm like, what the hell happened to my voice? I can't hit the same notes that I used to when I was younger. And when I went on a diet and started doing intermittent fasting, the last thing I'd eat, probably 7, 8 at night, I'd go to bed on an empty stomach and suddenly my voice came back. Oh, I know that's going to be very difficult for a bunch of vocalists. No, I can't drink alcohol. It's like, yeah, you know what? Toughen up. You can handle it. You can do it. You're capable. You don't have to drink. And if you want to do this seriously and you want to get the best performance you can, don't fucking drink.
And the thing is you can drink when you're not going, when you don't have a vocal recording session planned.
Right.
It's all about timing, right?
Sure, exactly. Or I drink after.
Right. One thing that's really helped me with this is, and this is hard it was hard for me and it's hard for some people for sure. Learn to embrace the hunger before bed. If you're hungry before bed, tell yourself, oh, this is good. This means my voice is going to rock tomorrow. It's that sort of self-denial for the greater good. And practicing that is an incredible sort of mantra to have in a lot of other ways when you're going into the studio. So this leads me to the next thing that we want to not do before we have a recording session scheduled. And this really is the days leading up to, and it's when you are actually in the studio getting ready to go. Don't over warm up. Don't over warm up. A lot of singers will think, oh, I got to get my voice warmed up so that I'm at my peak when the red light starts going. And they start doing these things that they've learned, these scale drills or whoop booms or, all sorts of things. And then they maybe go through and hit a song and okay, I think I'm good and warmed up. But what ends up happening is, two things end up happening a lot. The first is that you warm up past your peak. You really, most of the time, your scratch takes should be where you're not fully warmed up. Okay? Then, the other thing that really happens is when we're warming up, we start getting these expectations in our mind. Oh, my voice doesn't feel like it did last time I was recording. I better warm up better or differently, or I better work my high range for a little while, or I better do some things like that. And then you end up working yourself into this mental funk of like, oh, wow, I'm trying to warm up. And it's not happening. Like my voice is just, I don't have it today. And there are days where you won't have it, sure. But there are a lot of times where singers warm up wrong or over warm up, and then they ruin their chances for having it, period. So one of the things that I preach on my channel a ton is a very counterintuitive warm up for most. I do not recommend warming up with scales. I don't recommend warming up with exercises. I recommend warming up by putting on a backing track of some kind, a backing track that you're comfortable with, an instrumental thing, and literally making strategic noises over it. Noises that do not pigeonhole you into hitting notes, pigeonhole you into hitting anything correctly or doing things right, because we don't want to get ourselves into a mental gap of like, oh, yesterday I could hit the C5, but today I can't. I'm so disappointed. We don't want that kind of thing when we're warming up. We want to warm up our minds, and we want to warm up our freedom. And I talk a lot more about that on my channel. But that's definitely my number 4. Do not over warm up.
That's so cool, man. So you want to go into like dead cat territory, that kind of stuff.
Dead cat. If you saw the video we did last week.
Right, exactly. And if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, definitely check that video. It's totally cool. Okay. What's your next thing? I was going to say, now this is one I picked up from my cousin Carolyn Sinclair, who's an opera soprano in Canada, and her whole thing is she won't eat cheese for a week before a gig, so it doesn't gum up her vocal cords. And then she'll go play a show and then go out for pizza after the fact. It's all about the self-sacrifice thing, because dairy can really fuck with your vocal cords.
Yeah, different things do different things to different vocalists, right? I don't limit stuff like cheese, dairy. I do on a just sort of a lifestyle level where I don't eat a ton of dairy. I don't eat a ton of sugar. And so to me, the longer lifestyle habits, it's a better way to go. Now, I do still drink alcohol. I still do weed, but I don't, and it's legal in where I live. But I don't do it very often. It's the moderation principle is because my lifestyle serves ultimately what I want to do. I want to be able to sing. I want to be able to do certain things with my voice and with my body that if I was eating more dairy, if I was eating more sugar, if I was eating late at night, if I was drinking a ton, if I was always stoned, then I would not be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I think that when it gets into those sorts of dietary things, like I will absolutely not eat no dairy right before. I won't do that kind of thing. But I will make sure that I'm always eating moderately, that I've gotten my body used to the way I eat, and sort of embrace that lifestyle, knowing that it's for the greater good. So that's sort of my approach.
That makes perfect sense. What's next on your list?
Okay, the next one is get in touch with your head voice first thing the day you're going to record.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, your head voice, speaking like Mickey Mouse. Oh, some people think of this as falsetto. Oh, that thin, high, weak sort of sounding voice.
Okay.
There is so much in the realization of what our head voice can do for our voice at large that when we get in touch with it first thing in the morning, we are unlocking lots of things about our whole voice. When you are in your head voice, you are passing less air through your vocal cords. Your vocal cords are in a different position, so they're taking it less. It's far less abrasive to talk here, and sing here, than it is in our chest resonance. And so the first thing you can do when you wake up, access your head voice, you are coaxing your voice, and you have almost zero chance of premature swelling, which is what happens when you wake up and having eaten a whole pile of salsa right before the day before, or when you overuse your voice, you overtalk, you oversing, or you overwarm up, your vocal cords swell a little bit, and then you lose flexibility, you lose versatility. But if you start with your head voice, you gain a huge perspective on where your voice is at, and you wake it up in a way that is gentle. And then when you go to use your voice, your full range, when you're singing, you're going to notice your voice is going to be more flexible. It's going to be more stretchy, let alone understanding and unlocking some of the things like mixed voice, highly supported head voice notes that are super high and on point and aggressive. If you can get in touch with your head voice, you will be able to sing aggressively. Now, that sounds really counterintuitive because head voice is not aggressive. It's wimpy sounding, right? But if you know how to use head voice and chest voice together, you can do all sorts of amazing things with your voice that are what, great metal singers do. They're what great, guys like Chris Cornell, guys like Freddie Mercury, guys like Rob Halford. Those guys understand the power of the head voice.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing it the whole time while I'm talking, right? If I say, yeah, sure, I just went into my head voice there, right? Yeah, sure, right? There's that. But when you apply, yeah, sure, that's head voice. I'm not going, yeah, sure. It's not all chest, right? But if I'm going to apply that to singing, I can take sounds like, here we go. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a note. This is a C5. This is kind of the elusive for a lot of singers, like especially male singers. Man, if I could hit a C5. Just a second here. But I got to get it in my head. Okay, so here we go. La, 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 C4, C5. Yeah. In head voice, right? There's a head voice C5. Yeah. But if I learn how to connect that with my chest and connect it with my false chord area, okay, ready? Yeah. Oh, I love the C5. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm free. I'm free.
Holy shit.
I have connected my head voice, and you heard not every note was pristine, right? There was this dialing in thing that was happening, which you absolutely have to be okay with, not only in your warm-ups, but in your vocal recordings, right? Let that stuff happen. You listen to isolated tracks from your famous singers, and I talked about this guy in the last video, Spencer Sotelo. When he goes to scream, you hear, when in the isolated tracks, you hear what you heard in my voice just then, which is a little bit of head voice at the very beginning, right? You hear the crack, and then you hear the set. It's like a crack and a set. And so if you don't allow yourself permission to get in that sort of, then you're never going to unlock the honed version, which is what I just demonstrated. But it all starts with living in your head voice for a little bit at the first part of each day, particularly when you're going to record, because you embrace the holistic nature of your voice and the possibilities.
That is so cool, man. Wow. All right.
Number 2. Okay, this is a really weird one. You might go, this guy's dumb. Maybe you'll say that. Try lifting something heavy and pay extra careful attention to what happens with your voice. Don't lift something heavy over and over again. I'll get to that here in a second. But let's say I'm going to try to lift this desk. There's no way I can lift this desk. But I'm going to lift this desk and I'm going to go. Now, I'm going to pay attention to what I did in my voice, or with all of this, right? When I just did that, what did you hear, Glenn? What did you hear me do?
Grunt, basically.
What is a grunt? You grunt. What are you doing when you're grunting?
You're opening up your throat.
Well, you are partially right, but if your grunt was total, if your throat was totally open, it would be this, right?
Yeah, true. Okay.
You are partially
your vocal cords.
You're partially opening your throat.
Okay.
Which means this is really cool. You're partially closing your throat. Okay? Stick with me. If I do this, the sound you hear is a combination of my vocal cords intermittently closing, right? Because you don't always hear a pitch, right? Okay? But you also hear this sense that air is being trapped and intermittently released. And this is not happening with your primary vocal cords. This is happening with the area above your vocal cords. Listen to James Hetfield, and you will understand the power of what I'm talking about here. If you lift something heavy, you are unlocking the power to do vocal grit in your voice. Let me demonstrate. Heavy. I'm holding back air like I'm holding my breath. Now I'm going to push with my primary support, and I go a lot into dialing in your primary support on my YouTube channel. Glenn, do this with me.
Okay.
So we got lifting something heavy. Okay, so I'm gonna hold back all the air. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let some of it through, but I'm gonna push harder, and I'm going to hold back even more, and it's gonna do this. You're gonna be kind of gurgly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, there's gurgling, right? This is kind of gurgling sound. That is the area above your vocal folds, not your primary cords. That's closing, and it's letting air through, and it's giving your opportunity for your vocal cords to close. Now, why should you do this before you go to sing and before you go to record? Because you can use this mechanism to help you control air and control aggression. Here we go. La, no, now I'm going to use the same thing that you just did, Glenn, and I'm going to hold back air on that note. Okay. La, give me fuel, give me fire. That is compression, and it has nothing to do. It's hypercompression, and it has nothing to do with being hard on my vocal cords. It's actually easier on my vocal cords. And so if you can combine the sensation of getting in your head voice with the sensation of holding back air and moderating that, and then being willing to play with that in the studio, when you go in there's going to be all sorts of things you're going to want to try, which leads me to the number one thing you want to do when you go into the studio. Be willing to try anything. Anything. And these sounds that we're making, make those sounds, record them, listen back to them.
Yeah.
Be critical in your listening, but don't say that stuff sounds stupid. Say that everything that you do is an opportunity. Be willing to look at every sound you make, even if it's an accident, as an opportunity for something new, exciting, and musically creative and relevant. There's my 5.
Okay. Wow. That's really freaking cool, man. All right. Learn something new every day. Speaking of learning something new every day, now Chris has this amazing bundle of lessons on sale until the end of this week. So I would highly recommend grabbing it while you can. Quick recap there, Chris. What's it called and how many hours is it?
Okay. So it's 2 courses plus 4 checkup points, live check-ins with me and some other friends. And it is a total of about 20 hours between the 2 courses. The course that is new is Empowering Your Voice and Vocal Recordings. And we take some of the stuff that I did on this video, and we go crazy deep with it, but we do it by looking specifically at what other singers do in their vocal recordings. And we put that through osmosis and introspection into our own voices. We experiment, and then we critically listen and open up all sorts of possibilities in our own voice, particularly in the recording studio setting. So the other thing that we do is we go through how to make yourself the most comfortable possible so that you can deliver creativity. And then the second course is a course that I've done already. And as you're going through Empowering Your Voice and Vocal Recordings, this new course, you're going to want to go deeper on certain things depending on your particular bents or interests as a vocalist. Maybe you want to pursue aggressive vocals a little bit more. Maybe you want to pursue mixed voice a little bit more. Maybe you want to pursue ear training and background vocals and harmony even more than I cover in this other course. Discover Your Voice is a 12-week journey that helps you break down your voice on a foundational level and rebuild it from the ground up. So you're going to be able to completely dissect the way your voice is supposed to work. And then in tandem with this new course, you're going to be able to grow in the studio and as an overall musician in exponential ways over the duration of only 12 weeks. And that's partially why I have put in these these live interactive things where you can interact directly with me.
That's fantastic, man. Now, this is the thing. We discussed this earlier a few days back. I'm actually going to do this course as well. So I'm going to do the live checkups as well because I think this is going to be really cool. I used to sing in a band and I want to develop my voice and maybe start singing on the YouTube show so I can, demo some of these mics I'm always checking out, that kind of stuff. So I think it might be kind of cool. Now, normally both these courses as a bundle would go together for $400, but till the end of this week, we've got it on sale for $247. It's only going to be on sale like this for a couple more days. We've got a link in the description below. Grab it while you can because the sale will not last.
Well, thanks, Glenn, for having me on the channel again. This is the second time in less than 7 days.
I think it's a really cool thing. I mean, like I haven't had a professional vocal teacher on the show before. Like I said, so many of you guys have been asking me, hey, where do I go get vocal lessons? Get this lesson. This will make you into a better singer if you're a singer, and it will make you a better recording engineer when it comes to working with singers, not only melodic singers, but screamers as well. So it's not just for the traditional metal vocals, it's also for the death metal guys and that kind of stuff.
A vocalist of any kind, you can unlock all sorts of things. And I cover tons of this on my YouTube channel. And so if you want to get your feet wet and figure out these approaches and if they work with you, pop on over there, check out what I do. And if you want to go way deeper, check out this course bundle.
All right, so there you go. Chris, thanks so much for being on the show, dude. Hope to have you on again real soon. Can't wait to try the lesson out for myself. I think it's going to be a huge help and probably exactly what I need. Anyway, I've got links for everything in the description below. So after you're done watching this, head on over to Chris's channel. Check him out as well. Thanks again, Chris.
See ya.
Take it easy.